Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be reviewing parts 5 and 6 of the Scream of the Shalka. This was sent to me by one of my subscribers. I believe Ian sent this one. There's actually several things that have come in and several things coming in. So I'm not 100% sure who's sending what. I believe Ian sent this one. If I've got it wrong, let me know who sent this one. I thought it was Ian, but then I've seen so many other things coming, and I know Ian has a couple things coming. I certainly appreciate all the things everyone has been sending and is sending. I've mentioned in other videos lately, it's like you guys knew my birthday was coming up, because my birthday is at the beginning of January. I'll just casually mention that Super 7 LJN Mumra I'm wanting right here, because that's just kind of a running joke for me at this point. And I'm going to be honest, half the jokes I do in these videos are to amuse myself. I don't take myself too seriously. I think most of y'all know that. I have no shame. Part 5 was very forgettable for me of this. I don't really remember much about part 5. I mean, it has been like 3 days since I watched part 5, but like nothing sticks in my mind. I can't tell you the cliffhanger. I know it advanced the plot, but after 5 episodes, parts 3, 4, and 5 had definitely not living up to part 1. It just started getting progressively worse. Now, I still loved Richard E. Grant's Doctor. He's phenomenal. But I was getting to where I didn't really like Allison much. The creatures were starting to bother me as much as I love their character design. They have some great character design. The screeching was starting to get really annoying. But then I watched part 6. I love part 6. Part 6 has some really good stuff going on in it. I don't even know where to start. First off, I've talked before about how much I like the animation style. The animation looks fantastic. I think it's really impressive, especially being I think these were webisodes. I watched the making of, and I believe these were done for online web, because they weren't really doing much for the 40th anniversary, believe it or not, at the time. And this came out in 2003. So the animation, to have it to where you could just watch it, you basically could stream it with 2003 streaming, looks really good, actually, and does its job admirably. And the characters look like the characters. I still love Richard E. Grant's Doctor. I think he just... It's hard to know how to put into words. This is not going well. This is not going well. It's been a long day. I watched The Flash today, and I have very mixed feelings about that movie. Let me try this again. I really like Richard E. Grant's Doctor. I've enjoyed him throughout the whole thing. I love the fact that, I'm just going to jump right into the resolution of the story. While the ending is a bit Deus Machina, it's this silly Deus Machina that I love. He beats them by his voice. He eats the little thing that was on her head, and then reprograms it in his body. If it was Whittaker, she'd been using the Sonic, because it can do anything in her era. And then I love how he basically beats the creatures by just singing. He's like, ah, I love that. It's so silly. And I like when he's having the kind of shrieking match with the leader, the kind of queen of them. And she keeps shrieking and knocking him down, and it causes him to slide back. The animation is really good there when it's sliding him back. And he just slams into the tar. This is not going well at all. I cannot focus my thoughts today. It's like I'm tired or something. My brain is just like, I'm out. No, this is my day off. I'm out. But yeah, I like how she's shrieking and he's just like sliding back against stuff. The animation for that looks really good. I liked it in the story. Just to find out that's what he wanted, so he could reach the lever he wanted to send her into that black hole thingy. Because that's a technical term, black hole thingy. That's where my mind's at today. Don't judge me. Oh, it's okay. You can judge me. I'm cool with that. I don't take myself seriously either. I'm feeling very silly today. The companion, Allison, gets more to do here as well. She is integral to stopping the plan. I like how she reattaches the thing to control the creatures, so they kind of lose their control over the humans. And then the Doctor, that softens them up so the Doctor can get into his performance and blow them all up. I love that. He's like, I finally got perfect pitch. It's so silly that he just beats them with perfect pitch and singing like that. But I love it because it's such a serious and dark story, and he's very much a serious doctor. He does have that quippy side, and he does get softer over the course of the story, which is something else we'll get to. But I love the fact that such a serious kind of dark story with a very dark color palette for the animation has such a kind of silly, whimsical solution. It works, and I love it. It's a Deus Machina that gets a full pass for me because it's so much fun to watch. I was laughing at the end of it right there. And I love the fact that the episode doesn't have like an abrupt ending right after the resolution. We do get a nice little padded out ending. Not exactly Lord of the Rings padded out, but kind of like the ending of Snake Dance that got cut, where you actually do get a little, after the crisis stuff. It's kind of like that. And it's nice to see Allison decide to go travel with the doctor. That scene where she's talking to her boyfriend and he calls to see if she's waiting at the mother's house, like a future version of her. It's like, she's not there. And Allison's like, well, I guess we know. Kind of reminds me of Rose and Mickey a little bit. I mean, there are definitely some things when you watch this episode you kind of see later in modern Who. You're like, I wonder if they pull from that. There are actual several things that do that. Richard E. Grant's Doctor is interesting because much like Eccleston's Doctor, obviously something happened to him to kind of make him close himself off to be like an emotional island, as they say in the story. Something obviously happened with a companion, with something. Maybe it's what caused him to regenerate into this incarnation, since this is technically supposed to be the original Ninth Doctor. And it's interesting because he starts out a lot more with a harder exterior, just not wanting to be there, wanting to get his TARDIS and leaving, not caring what happens to the people here, that it's an invasion. He just doesn't care. At least he tries to say he doesn't care. Now, he's still quippy and witty here, but he does it in that very, dry, deadpan, Leslie Nielsen type delivery, or kind of like Capaldi could do early in his run. So even though he's making like Tom Baker quips, he's doing it in that deadpan Capaldi, Leslie Nielsen voice. Now, he softens up over the course of the story, and you can hear it as he talks. He gets a little more emotion in his voice, and by the end of it, he is softer. Because much like in New Who, traveling with people makes him better. Like Amy tells Eleven, this is what happens when you're alone, when you travel alone for too long. And it's nice to kind of see that here, and kind of seeing how his Doctor kind of mirrors Eccleston's Doctor as well, with them both having, traumatic events that we haven't seen on screen that have made them more cut off, and seeing them soften up over their run. I enjoyed that. Allison, like I said, it's hit or miss with me. I liked her in the first couple episodes. She kind of lost interest to me until that 6th episode where she kind of picked back. I do like her trust in the Doctor, and I like his trust in her. They do seem to have a nice bond, and I would have enjoyed seeing more travels with them together. And I do like the one kind of military guy that doesn't like the Doctor. Like, permission to smack him, sir, at ease. I like both the main military guys we see. They're kind of funny. So yeah, overall, I liked it. Episodes 1 and 2 were really good. Episode 6 was really good. 3, 4, and 5 were kind of varying. Episode 5, again, is not very memorable. I really can't tell you anything right off that happened. I don't even remember the cliffhanger. But I definitely enjoyed the Doctor having a story arc. Kind of basically like the first Doctor's arc, the 12th Doctor's arc, the 9th Doctor's arc. Right here, I really enjoyed it. Richard E. Grant's giving a good performance. Derek Jacobi as the Master is great, years before he actually also was the Master in the new series. And the idea of the Master being a robot, that whole bit with the Master and the Doctor there is really, really a neat idea. I've talked about that in other videos. I really like how that plays over this story, that the Doctor just builds a companion because he needs it, and it's a robotic version of the Master. And I like right here at the end the conversation between the robot Master and Allison, when the Master's like, he wants you to stay. He won't say it, but he wants you to stay. It was a really nice, tender little moment from the Master. I'm sure he wants to use it to his own advantage, but yeah, I liked it. I wish the kind of suspense, horror, tension aspect of the first 2 episodes, especially that first episode, would have lasted a little longer. But overall, it's a neat look at where Doctor Who was in 2002 and 2003 during the 40th anniversary time. And because it's hard to think, considering where we were in 2013 and where we are in 2023, where Doctor Who is, to think that it was just so dismissed back then that everybody was passing on this project and they had to fight so hard just to get it made, and how nice it must have been to get some new Doctor Who in 2003 for people, even though the modern series had already been announced by the time this dropped. It's a miracle it got made at all, really. And Richard E. Grant is a good Doctor. I like his Doctor. If I was ranking him, I can tell you now, he would rank above War and Fugitive, probably just because we don't get enough of them. Even though we don't get enough of Grant either, he is kind of the main Doctor of the story. So I'd put him above them. He would definitely go above Whittaker, and I think I'd put him above Colin as well. I'm not sure if he'd go above anyone else, again, just because of the limited time. But I do like his Doctor. He feels like the Doctor throughout the whole story. And that's more than I can say for, say, Whittaker most of the time. So I really did enjoy his Doctor. That's my favorite part of the story. Again, I like the animation as well. And some of the guest cast was quite nice. So, Scream of the Shalka. Have you seen it? What do you think of it? I want to give a thank you to Ian or whoever was. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this. I also have a Patreon if you would like to contribute to that. There's a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you would like to send me, it's down there as well. That's Doctor Who related or anything else. It is a sci-fi channel after all, so if there's another sci-fi property you want me to take a look at and would like to know my thoughts on, I very much enjoyed watching Quatermass in the Pit. Looking forward to seeing the movie version of that, the Hammer version of that eventually. The P.O. box is down there, as is a link to my Amazon wish list, which I have updated recently to include some other classic Doctor Who stuff. Some episodes I've only seen once, like Silver Nemesis, Greatest Show, and Image of the Fendal. They're very hazy in my mind and need a rewatch and some reviews for those. And if nothing else, if you've enjoyed this video, if you'd help me out clicking the like button or the subscribe button, that is a big deal to me. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in 2023, and we are well on our way there. I certainly appreciate each and every one of you, and I've made it through it. I've made it through the review. I didn't know if I was going to make it. I'm telling you, it's one of those days. It really is just one of those days where I'm like, can I just sleep now? Home is where the bed is. That's my motto. I didn't know if I was going to make it through. But I am looking forward to seeing what else is coming in the mail. I have moved my schedule around. There's so much stuff coming in. I don't like you guys having to wait to see reviews, but I don't want to just do reviews. So I've taken my Highlander reviews, because I have watched the Telesnap reconstruction of all 4 episodes of Highlanders, even though I've also read the novel. Reviews of those have been filmed. They were filmed probably back in May, and they were going to drop in early July, but I think I've moved those back to like late August, because I would rather go ahead and start getting reviews out for some of the stuff y'all are sending. Like this is being recorded in mid-June, and I don't think y'all will see it until early July. So lots of reviews to get through. I'm trying to get to where people sending me stuff aren't having to wait too long to get to reviews, because once when you send somebody something, you want to see their reviews on it. That makes sense. So I am working on that. I am restructuring things to try to get reviews out for you guys, because I do appreciate everyone who is sending stuff. That means a big deal, and I certainly appreciate it. Most importantly, thank you for watching.